Hello and welcome to the Summon, the African Summon, where we connect you to Africa and African culture. Today we'll continue our story, The Good Foot by Cameroon Nsanda Eba. Be sure to invite your friends, neighbors, and loved ones. Join us for this great read. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and share. Thank you. Chapter 5, Nkumkumasa. The month ended 2 weeks after Elate started work, and a few days after that would be payday. The laborers received their pay on the second or third day of each month. There was always a stir in the camps on payday, the one feast observed with solemnity and grandeur. On payday, the laborers did only have a day's work. They closed at noon instead of 3 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, hundreds of workers had assembled at Beaver. The timekeeper of each camp worked closely with the paymaster, who was usually one of the assistant managers. On this occasion, Clark was to pay the laborers. It was always a tedious affair. Clark sat on the veranda of the main office, and in the huge clearing in front of the office stood the laborers in straight lines like school children. The various headmen, like class teachers, kept their teams in line, especially when they approached Clark's table. On the table were stacks of currency notes and coins of various denominations. There were pound notes, 10-shilling notes, florins, shillings, 6 pence, 3 pence, pennies, and halfpennies. The pounds were very few because only headmen and timekeepers earned anything higher than a pound. When a new camp came up to receive their wages, the timekeeper of that camp would stand to the right of Clark. He would then read out from the original list first the name of the headman and then the names of the laborers under his charge. As he read out each name, he would check with a quick glance against the duplicate list he had on the left-hand side of the table. The laborers would walk up to the left of the table, receive his wage, bow down, and say, "Thanks, sir," and then leave with suppressed jubilation. It was 5 o'clock before Clark finished paying the laborers. There was now a great turmoil in the open market, a short distance away from the office. Women had brought food to sell, and before the last person had received their wages, the choicest foods, jollof rice and pork stew, had been cleared. Payday was usually a day of confusion and turmoil. Creditors asking for their debts to be settled, women and children hawking their goods, and thieves snatching wallets from their careless victims. "You must pay me today. For 2 months, I have not been able to track you, you sly fox. You always hide from me. Now that I have seen you, you must pay me." "No, not next month, today." "Give me 5 shillings worth of pork. Today is the only day I can eat meat. Eat and die is my motto." "Fine puff puff, come and buy my fine puff puff, fine puff puff." "Oh, I am dead. I say I am dead. The whole of it, not 1 penny left for me. Oh, I am dead. They have killed me." This last one had lost his wallet containing his month's pay. He went to buy groundnuts, and as he bent down, the purse was snatched from behind. There was a thick crowd milling around him, and he did not even feel it go. By the time they returned to their camps, most of the laborers were drunk. Half their cares and worries had been left behind at Beaver, together with half their wages. In this drunken state, they quarreled in their houses and sometimes beat their wives for no just cause. "What have you brought for me from your pay? Or have you drunk it all as usual? Why can't you sell cassava or make gari like the other women? What have you got to do with my pay? Why don't you save for the family or at least for the children? Don't you see that?" "Stop your nonsense, beast. I'll teach you to respect your husband, whack." Sometimes they fight for a more justified reason. Not all housewives go on payday to Beaver, and it might happen that the workers who receive their pay early finish with Beaver quickly and return to their camp, which is what happened on this particular payday. Johnny had an ulterior motive for hurrying back to camp after receiving his wage. The camp was, of course, usually quiet now, and as he pretended to pass by, he saw Susanna, wife of one of his neighbors. He had always lusted after her. Now he looked around and there was nobody in sight. Susanna, why are you not in Beaver? He asked. Why are you not there? She replied. After all, you're the worker, not me. Well, I'm just returning from Beaver. I have had my pay, so I decided to come straight to the camp. Very unlike a man. What have you brought for me? She does not mean the question, and neither is she expecting anything from him. Take this shilling and buy whatever you want with it. She is surprised. She never expected it. Her eyes light up in gratitude. Won't you come in? Of course, that is just what he had been hoping for. He walks in and sits on the bed, one hand on her side. No, no, my husband will soon be returning. But she does not shrink away. So he is encouraged. He gets up and passes towards the door, but he is not leaving the room. He has only gone to shut the door. Johnny, don't you know that it will be trouble for both of us? I have been secretly admiring you all these months, Johnny replied. Anyway, he's a man and I'm a man. No, leave me alone. But she succumbs. Johnny, oh Johnny. All is quiet. Footsteps are coming, but the busy couple do not hear. They hear nothing now but the beating of their hearts. Then there is a knock at the door. Confusion. Quick, Johnny dresses in a second. It's only a wrapper and his shirt, and he hides himself behind the door. Susanna goes to open the door, and it is her husband. He walks right in, stinking of alcohol. Then Johnny curves out and, like a rat, he's outside. Who's that? I say, who's that? No answer. You hit a man here. Still no answer. You will die today. The fight starts. He is killing me, oh, he is killing me, oh. No help is forthcoming. I did nothing with him. I told him to go away, but he refused. I swear I did nothing with him. This bit of news spread like wildfire. And by the following morning, everybody was talking about the latest scandal. However, the worst happened. For Kumkum heard about it too. Kumkum, the plantation bard, who always sang on shipment days and other special occasions. Under the rhythmic charm of Kumkum's songs, the laborers worked for long periods without feeling any strain. The songs were usually in pidgin English, and he always sang about the latest scandals. His songs were always of the same pattern, solos, which he sang himself, alternating with a chorus, sung by the whole group. His real name was Tambo, but he was called by everyone Kumkum, which was the word he always started his songs with. Within 2 days, he had formed a song about the latest scandal in preparation for the next shipment day. The song went like this. Nkumkum masa, nkumkum tami no de, oh nkumkum we go for pay, oh ha. Susanna left for house, oh nkum for sika weti ha, because he did weti Johnny, oh nkumkum as Johnny come oh ha. Susanna take a mentor for house, oh nkumkum they fall for bed, oh ha. One time choppy done, oh nkum they begin for chop, oh ha. They chop it this sweetie plenty, oh nkumkum. As a leaky pan, oh, ha. One time massa enter, oh, kum, ho, ah, oh, ha, ha, ho, kum, ho, ha. When shipment day came a week later, Susanna, as the song was called, was on the lips of every laborer. The raft was 30 miles from Beaver, and truckloads of laborers were transported by train early in the morning for several camps to from several camps to the raft. They will help to load the ship with banana. At the raft, the laborers formed many long lines from the ship where the bananas were stored. They passed the bananas bunch by bunch from hand to hand. Ordinarily, this was a very strenuous task, but with Nkumkum, everyone was singing and passing the banana on. Rhythmically, the body felt the strain. This loading job usually continued until night. So the laborers worked in shifts and were paid overtime. Sometimes the work could be dangerous. The gangway between the deck of the ship and the edge of the raft was very narrow, and occasionally a bunch of bananas dropped into the sea waters below. If the manager was around, the culprit will receive several kicks and insults of bush monkey or swine. If the manager was not there, the laborers would just shout in merriment at the big splash. It was said that once a laborer dropped into the sea, perhaps because the bunch of bananas given to him was too heavy, or perhaps he was very tired, or most probably both. When the other laborer heard the splash, thinking it was an extra large bunch of bananas that had dropped. That night, one of the laborers was reported missing from his camp. The next morning, his body was found floating by the side of the ship. Shipmen, they had their joys as well. They added a new look and often new wealth to Quito. Quito was the main inland town near the raft, about miles away. Whenever there was a ship in the raft, many people, especially young boys, took such delicacies as pineapples, smoked ripe bananas, chicken, and eggs to the sailors in exchange for watches, drinks of all sorts, and even money. This black market, of course, operated only in the shadow of the night. For the blacker market, the sailors themselves came on shore and trekked the 2 miles to Quito. On such excursions, they usually went with guides who were small boys, some of whom came right to the raft. Others were simply picked up on the way or at the outskirts of the town. These boys were hired by prostitutes and sent to the raft to direct the sailors to their houses. The boys were usually doubly rewarded in their nefarious trade, both by the sailors who gave generous tips and by prostitutes who gave not so generous tips. The people in the town did not like the sailors because they visited pubs, they drank too much, they spoke and laughed loudly, they played and quarreled and even fought with low-class men, and they slept with low-class women, just like any other person. They did not behave like the plantation workers or government officials who maintained their prestige, who never came to pubs and never mingled with the people. Sailors were low-class white men, and for this they were despised. However, they paid generously for whatever they enjoyed, which kept the small-time businessmen and women especially happy. And that's where we end today. Be sure to tune in for chapter 6 of this book. Do subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and share. And until next time, I am Nsanda Eba saying thank you for responding to this summon.